This video is brought to you by Manscaped. More about them at the end of the video.
Shot. This is the easiest I've ever had to answer.
I'm going to say beer. I can't even begin to describe.
I'm actually going to go crazy. I'm going to buy everybody around on this one. All right, but everybody, welcome back to Big Apple Hockey's Bar Talk, where we're gauging our confidence on NHL topics based on our choice of drink. Are you so confident that you're going to buy everybody around? Are you so and you just want a beer? Or, oh my God, just give me a shot. I need a shot, something bad. And by the way, as I mentioned all the time, we still have some of the Big Apple Hockey trucker hats. You can get them in the eBay link that's on the bottom. I've been selling them person to person, so that's the reason why they're dwindling. Until get yours before we have to reorder more, and you have to wait. All right, Philk, last night, one of the big numbers every New York Ranger fan was looking at last night was 63% on faceoffs. The New York Rangers will continue to be a very good faceoff team.
I'm going to say beer because I think Vinny Trocheck will help that. I think Ryan Carpenter can help that. And I'm not sure about Mika Zibanejad. He's kind of like a 50% kind of guy in his career abouts, maybe a little higher or lower, give or take. Filipino actually had a real good night on them too. So I'm not ready to say round, but I am cautiously optimistic here. Beer.
Anthony.
I'll go beer too. I do agree. I think Carpenter will help, and obviously Trocheck is a strong centerman, so he'll help too. And listen, face-offs, we always talk about it. It's pretty underrated. I think on the one goal, who was it that got beat clean in the circle, and then he sent over the one-timer to Stamkos, and they scored. So just goes winning face-offs is a big part of hockey. So, but yeah, I think beer. I think they have a lot of guys in place to be a pretty good face-off team.
Number one metric is always possession. They talk about possession all the time. Face-offs equal possession. How many times have you guys, just even playing hockey in the years you've played, you just went, you lost the draw. The next thing you knew, it was in the back of the net. I mean, I used to score on draws. Now, granted, that was 18 when I did that, so I was much more talented back then. So I'm buying everybody's shot on that, or buying around, because they need to be. You want to be a great team, get better at faceoffs. You can't be, and the worst part about running all these, I never had a chance to put this guy run up, can't be 24th in the league like they were last year. So, Anthony, Pierre LeBrun says Patrick Kane could end up with the Rangers and the Islanders. The Islanders should stay away from Patrick Kane.
Yeah, cause a little bit of stir with Isles fans after that one. Devil's advocate here. I mean, listen, if you can get Patrick Kane, that's great. But I'm gonna say round, only because he's still playing at an elite level. But he's 34 years old. He's a pending UFA, and the Blackhawks are still gonna want a lot for him. And as an Islander for their organization, do you really want to give up a Autu Ratu in a deal for Patrick Kane when there's no guarantee, he would stay beyond the year? They're not going to get a play like Noah Dobson or Alexis Lafreniere for Kane, but he's still not going to come cheap either. And I'm not sure I really have the appetite to give up Ratu or William Dufour. So as much as I would want him, and I'd still be happy if they got him, I would also say be weary of acquiring Patrick Kane.
Phil.
I'm going to say beer. The reason why is because where are the Islanders when the trade deadline comes around? Are they a real good team that looks like they need one last piece to put them over the top? Or are they a team that's on the playoff bubble where you think maybe they can win a round or something like that? Would it be worth it for them at that point to give up that much for a guy like Kane? I'm not exactly sure. So,
and you know what? I got 10 seconds to say this. If you can get them, go get them. And the Islanders are going to be one of the teams that can actually fit them under the salary cap. So I'm going to say beer on that, although I can see all the negative sides on that, because that means the Islanders don't have to give up nearly as much. So everybody, let's go back to the next one. They play, I believe right now they're starting up. The Washington Capitals are more likely to make the playoffs or to miss the playoffs than the Boston Bruins. Sorry, Anthony.
Oh, I'm gonna say shot. I'm not really a fan of Boston. Marchand's out, Grizzlick's out. I believe McAvoy's out too. They brought back an aging Krejci. Yeah, they still have Pasternak, who's really good. Bergeron is still going to be Patrice Bergeron. And I mean, Swayman, Ullmark, and goal, their overall depth. I'm not in love with Taylor Hall, Craig Smith. I think Boston's more likely to miss the playoffs than the Capitals.
Phil.
I think Boston is more likely to miss the playoffs than Washington. So I'm going to say shot on this. I think Washington still has a real good amount of firepower to work with. I don't like either team's situation in net. I don't think Swayman's really that good. I don't think Ullmark is really that good either. I think they're the lower end of starting caliber goaltenders. And I think there's a goaltending controversy in Boston that still needs to be figured out before Boston even tries to do anything. But you're missing McAvoy. You're missing Marchand. Krejci comes back, but what are we getting from Krejci, who's been out of the NHL? Bergeron is a year older. And for me, my biggest concern is that I can point to several great hockey players over the years and say that they all started declining at the age of 37. Is this going to happen with Patrice Bergeron as well? So I'm going with Washington here.
I'm going to go with shot and be quick about it as well, because you guys took up all the time. It's
I told you to reset the timer because it was 10 seconds in. You see me put on the timer right now.
All right. So I'm going to have to do that too. But no, I'm going to do that anyway. But I have to go with the fact that Washington right now, they're on year 3 of Peter Laviolette.
You got it right.
Yeah, I've been practicing. But Peter Laviolette, they're either going to be real good or they're going to fall off a cliff. God only knows what's going to happen with that. And then also on top of that, then there's the injuries for both teams. Backstrom for the Capitals, Tom Wilson for the Capitals, Marchand for the Bruins. And then the next question is Pasternak getting traded? There's so many other things. I gotta go with shot on this. So I will go and reset that timer in just a moment. Guys, the other game that's starting tonight is the Colorado Avalanche will raise their Stanley Cup banner. Colorado Avalanche will win the President's Trophy. And I got to go Filk on this one.
I'm going to say beer. I'm pretty sure I picked Calgary to win it, if I was correct.
You are correct. We all did.
Yeah. So I picked Calgary, but so I'm going to say beer. I think Colorado is going to be one of the top 3 teams in the league, I would say. It depends. Really, for me, their success depends on one thing. How does Alex Newhook play as the number 2 center behind Nathan McKinnon at this point? He had 30-something points last year in, I think, 70 games. He was about a point every other game pace. But does Newhook take that next step this year? That's the biggest thing for me. Because if that's figured out, then they're going to be just fine.
Anthony.
I'm going to go beer as well. I mean, they certainly could, because they're still going to be one of the best teams in the league. But I think it's going to be Calgary. I think Calgary's stronger in goal. I'm not really sold on Georgiev as a starter. And just I don't know. I just think Calgary's going to be the best team in the regular season. So we'll see. Could be wrong, but I'm going with the Flames. So therefore, beer.
Wicked. If you could have seen if you looked up, as Anthony said, I'm not really a fan of Georgiev, and both of me and Phil are shaking our heads at the same time. I got to go with just a beer on this one, because I don't know if they can win it if Francois ends up taking the job. But on the other hand, I mean, they got a lot of offense. Does Bowen Byram take a step forward? They have so much talent on that team, even still. But you're right about that. Alex Newhook is going to be the key. If he could be the second line center, that's it for them. So I'm going to let that timer just continue to run down.
And Boston just took a 1-0 lead over Washington.
There you go.
Power play. Bergeron. Rebound.
Hey, by the way, so today the Maple Leafs are playing the Canadiens, and the Vancouver Canucks are hosting the Edmonton Oilers. A Canadian team will make the Stanley Cup Finals this year. I'm going to actually start it off, boys. And I'm going to say, I'm going to actually, sorry, I got to buy everybody around. I got to go the other way because I picked the Calgary Flames to go all the way. And if that's the case, it's Calgary Flames. Here's a list of the teams that made the Stanley Cup Finals since 2000. Did I miss anybody, guys? Because I got the Canadians in 2020, Canucks in 2011, Senators, and the Flames. I'm just feeling like I might have missed someone. So, Anthony, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I got to go round, right? I picked the Flames. So he makes it easy. Calgary, I really like them. I really like their makeup of the team. I think they could have easily just folded and went home after losing, Gaudreau and then finding out Tkachuk wanted out, but they didn't. And on top of that, you signed Nazem Kadri. I like them, and I think round they're going to go to Stanley Cup Finals.
And Phil, what do you think?
Well, that was my prediction too. Calgary was going to the Stanley Cup Finals, so I think Calgary's going to make it. I just think they are arguably the most balanced team in the NHL right now. They have a ton of talent. They've got two really good, reliable centers in Kadri and Lindholm. I think Dylan Dubé is going to step up because he's going to be put into a top 6 role this year with Johnny Gaudreau leaving. Obviously, Huberdeau was traded for Tkachuk, so you're replacing one elite winger with another elite winger in a trade, so that's almost like a lateral move. But you're losing Johnny Gaudreau, who's an elite winger himself, and I think Dylan Dubé and Andrew Mangiapane can help make up for the loss of that. So, I love Calgary. I love adding Uyghur on defense. I think that's a huge addition for them. And Jacob Markstrom was a Vezina finalist last year, so you got a great goaltender in there as well. And I think they're just from head to toe, they're just so well balanced.
Guys, there was a hell of a third period last night between the LA Kings and the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
What a game that was.
That was a great game, and then just amazing how it ended. Last-minute goal by Mark Stone. So, actually, I had it right there for you.
That was a snipe.
So, it was alluded to by the man in the bottom box down there. But, Anthony, the Las Vegas Golden Knights are back.
Shot. It's one game. They played obviously really well. Mark Stone's healthy, so that could go a long way with having them be upper echelon again. But it's one game, Mark, and Logan Thompson is their goaltender right now with Leonard out for the year. I'm still not really sure on him. And their overall depth. I mean, you got Marchessault, you got Stone, you got Eichel, but I'm not really sold on Amadio and Stevenson and some of the other pieces they got there at the forward position. Ridiculous question mark. Might not even make the playoffs. We'll see, but it's a shot.
All right, Phil.
You know what? I'm gonna say beer. I seem like such a middle of the meh kind of guy. I don't want to say round or anything like that, but I'm going to say beer because I love Bruce Cassidy as a coach. I really do. They are missing some guys right now, and that's a big win for them last night because they're missing Robin Leonard. Nolan Patrick's probably out for the year. Maybe even his career might even be over for all we know. But they still got a good roster. You added Phil Kessel. Phil Kessel looked good. One of the things that the crew was saying last night in that game was that was a very, very high-paced game. And Vegas has a ton of speed. And you know what? Pacioretty wasn't slow, but he wasn't a burner. Phil Kessel's a great skater. I think he's going to fit right in. You got a full year of Jack Eichel now, who's finally adjusted to his new settings, and he's healthy.
And new body.
Yeah, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, I think, Vegas. So I do think that they're back, but I'm not going to say round. I'm just going to say beer.
First off, by the way, let's all marvel that Anthony was able to meticulously in detail answer the question and father at the same time without even skipping a beat.
You learn the skill over the years.
Oh my God.
Fortunately, Anthony, I'm not buying into the hype, but I like Bruce Cassidy, so it is just a beer. So it's not. I'm not going crazy. I'm not saying anything else because also Vegas' other problem was injuries last year, so they all have to stay healthy. And their other problem is the salary cap too. They got to manage that.
Well,
so
they're not going to have to. They've got LTIR being used between Shea Weber, and then you got Robin Leonard and Nolan Patrick right now. So, they'll have space regardless when those guys come back. Minus Weber, obviously.
All right. And we mentioned that the Golden Knights won last night and that the player that scored last night, Mr. Jack Eichel, we've had a lot of conversations when it happened with him. So Jack Eichel will finish with more playoff goals than Mike Trout will finish with playoff hits. And currently, this is the ticker. Philk, I would love to hear
I am buying everybody around, and I don't ever want to hear anybody talk about Shohei Ohtani for MVP ever again, or at least for this season, I should say, with the way that Aaron Judge hit. So, Mike Trout ain't making the playoffs again because the Angels are just atrocious, poorly ran, poorly constructed, and Jack Eichel will finish with more playoff goals.
Anthony.
So I think I said this before. I don't follow baseball that closely enough to really know. I mean, I know Mike Trout's obviously a very good player. He makes a lot of money, and he's been one of the better players in the league over the last little while here. But it's hard for me to say. But I will say this in regards to the hockey part of it. Vegas isn't guaranteed to be in the playoffs. I'm sure they'll be close and they might even make it, but there's no guarantee they do make it. The Western Conference has some pretty strong teams right now. So I'll go with beer.
I am in amazement that I could even ask this question. I watched it yesterday. I saw the tweet that said Jared Kelenic right now has got more playoff hits than Mike Trout does. And I'm just going, are you kidding? Like, this is one of the best baseball players
totally
around. You can't get him in the playoffs.
That's totally believable.
Yeah, but I mean, it's unfortunately I have to say just a beer because Jack Eichel can't get in the playoffs. Even when Jack Eichel is the best player on his team and everything's going well, it's just he just can't seem to get his team into the playoffs, and that's frustrating enough just to think about. And I don't know. I'd be at wit's end if I was him. I wouldn't know what to do.
Hey.
Didn't know where the screaming was coming from. That was actually my house. So, or over there. So anyway, guys, that's the end of Big Apple Hockey's Bar Talk. It's great to have all three of us back together on it. We are going actually at a great clip. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of great hockey content and an entertaining interactive podcast. So check us out and our library of videos. Guys, girls love a man that's well-groomed. So check out Manscaped and their family of products. They have you covered from head to toe, from the lawnmower to the weed whacker, because you don't want to look like a fuzzball. Go to manscaped.com, put in promo code BAH for Big Apple Hockey to get 20% off and free shipping. If you like that video, we got a lot more. So check out any of these that are right over here. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.